matters by the public now.
We still, once we finish matters by the public, we still have a
Couple more regular agenda items. We have to take them at 2. And we'll finish that up. So, Commissioner, I'll read the cards and if you'll help us with the timing. And we'll get started. All right. First up is Diana Maria Rojas, followed by Fane Lozman.
Good afternoon, Palm Beach County Commissioners. Good afternoon, Palm Beach County Commissioner Mayor Greg Weiss. I'm coming today in regards to your special presentations that were held today at 9:30 a.m. in this chambers. I wanted to say, as a taxpaying constituent of this county, I'm very proud of the fact that you decided to highlight some very important events this month, such as Family Court Awareness Month, Veteran Service Dog Day, National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Month, and most importantly, for declaring November 2023 as Palm Beach County Disability Employment Awareness Month. As a former Board of County Commission employee, for 17 years, I find it incredibly rich that this county would go forward with saying that you not only protect the rights of employees, but that you go as far as take pictures for Facebook to get recognition. Now, I've spoken to each of you or most of you individually about my situation, and all I've got was pushback by our county administrator, Virginia Baker, who refuses to meet with me. I also had a lot of pushback by our county attorney, Denise Kaufman, missing in action as always. And I just want to remind you something. When I walked away from a county employment discrimination lawsuit, it wasn't because it was without merit. It was because I'm a trust fund baby. But I want to remind you, because apparently we forgot, that we operate by employment discrimination laws, okay? So if you're not aware, we have a Civil Rights Act of 1964, read on it, Age Discrimination and Employment Act, there's an Americans with Disabilities Act, there's an Equal Pay Act, there's a Florida Civil Rights Act of 1992, there's a Palm Beach County Equal Employment Ordinance, and there's a Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act of 2008. As your county-appointed librarian of the stars, I've done your research, and I'm reminding you to tread carefully when you sit there and you condescendingly tell people that know, that have operated under you, that have hired people for you, that have done the research for your PPMs. Tread carefully, because some of us are retired at 33, and none of you can say the same. And with that, I'll let you know that I can walk away from your $250,000 check, because I got it like that. But be careful, because there are a lot of people that want to go forward with a civil action suit. Congratulations, you played yourself, Palm Beach County.
Thank you. Fane Lozman, followed by Linda Smith.
Fane Lozman, good afternoon. Before I get into the reason I came here today, I had talked last year about how your rules of decorum violate the First Amendment. They also violate the 14th Amendment. And at the last meeting, there was an award to an employee, and everybody clapped and congratulated her, and there was clapping from the audience. But when you had the Moroso vote come up for the drag race, people clapped from the audience. They were censured by the chair and by Ms. Marino. I don't know if Ms. Marino made some comments, no clapping from the audience. So you have to do it the same way. The First Amendment under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, either have clapping from the audience or you don't. But you can't selectively say you can clap for an employee from the audience, but you can't clap for a public speaker when it comes to an agenda item. And also you still have in your rules of decorum, I talked about this a couple years ago, impertinent and slanderous remarks. What's a slanderous remark? That's a discretionary call from the chair, but that's not a call you can make. As long as it's not fighting words or something to that effect, you're gonna have to let those comments come forward. There's case law on that. So you really need to look at you raise your right hand and uphold the laws of the United States. You have to look at the First Amendment and 14th Amendment, how that's being applied to your rules of decorum. I take off time from my busy day to come to the commission. I've been coming here since 2006 to address items that I have an issue with. When I have an issue with an item, I expect some kind of remedy, some kind of directive. Go talk to this person. We're taking under advisement. It's a good point, but not to come back and say, okay, thank you for making your comment, and nothing gets done. I came and talked about the Inspector General not handling complaints from the residents of Riviera Beach and how he's been in office for 9 years, how there should be term limits. Maybe after 8 years, you have a new Inspector General, because he becomes jaded in what he's doing. He's not responding to Riviera Beach residents. He's not responding to a Riviera Beach council person. He's just like, screw it. I'm an independent official, but he's still under your jurisdiction. So the point is, there's an issue. I and other people in Riviera Beach are being frozen out from the Inspector General process. That's not going to cut it. The Inspector General process was brought in when Palm Beach County was getting all the national press for corruption county back 2005 to 2010. Okay, Inspector General was brought in to root out corruption. If corruption's going on in a municipality and just because there's too much corruption, he doesn't want to deal with it, that's an issue. I think he's jaded. I think he's been there, 9 or 10 years now. I think there needs to be some kind of resolution, have some kind of term limits to swap those people out, just like you get swapped out every so many terms that you serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Smith, followed by Alicia Guess.
Mr. Mayor, just real quick, Fane, I'm a big fan of you, so I'd like to see, what can we do in regards to, can we have a discussion with the IG to find out, is he not looking at the city of Riviera Beach, or what can we do just to?
I can reach out to the Inspector General and share with him what was said today and to get a response and get back with you. But as you know, they're independent, and we have a good working relationship, so I can definitely inquire and get back with the board, but I cannot direct him.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. Linda Smith, Jupiter, Florida, Executive Committee Chair of the Sierra Club Loxahatchee Group. There has been a lot of talk lately about water, both quantity and quality. I may be speaking to the choir here, but Palm Beach County has lawn watering restrictions, which are enacted and enforced year-round. You can't water between 10 and 4, and watering is limited to 2 or 3 times per week, according to your address. I would like to suggest a re-education of the public during non-drought periods. I understand when we had a drought 10, 15 years ago, everybody complied, everybody took it very seriously, but I think most people don't realize that that is still actually the case. And when necessary, apply penalties. This could save thousands of gallons of water year-round. So that's quantity. Palm Beach County has adopted the Florida-friendly fertilizer use. No application of fertilizers containing nitrogen and phosphorus during the prohibited application periods or to saturated soils. Again, no fertilizer near water, ponds, streams, lake, canals, or wetlands. Education, especially before the rainy season, and when necessary, penalties would help with some of the water quality issues that Palm Beach County is facing. So let's try to educate and enforce before we start changing things all around. Housing, I understand you're going to be coming back to that issue after matters by the public. There's been a lot of talk about workforce housing. And you know that Sierra Club obviously emphasizes urban infill. And yes, everyone says it's hard to build an urban infill. I get it. But obviously development is going to continue, which will only make it more difficult in the future to do urban infill because it's going to continue to be filled in little bits by little bits. So let's try to do that now when we can. 2 prime sites I can think of are the old Highlight site and now the new up for sale or development, the Palm Beach Kennel Club site. These seems obvious, so I hope I haven't raised the price for providing workforce housing in these areas. And finally, plastics. I know the state legislature has limited some of what you guys can do up here in the county, and I actually spoke to that point at the legislative delegation last week, asking the legislators not to cut you guys off at the knees when you want to do local ordinances. But right now, you can write into all new contracts on Palm Beach County property to eliminate plastics. And just question, where is the recycle bin in the courtyard? Seriously, I'll pay for it. You have my number. Let's work together on what we can work together on, whether it's a recycle bin or something else. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Alicia Guest, followed by Risa McCarr. How do I get this right? McCarr? McCarraher. And then also want to acknowledge that we have former Palm Beach County Commissioner Stephen Abrams in our chambers.
Is she going first?
Yes, you're first.
Hi. I'm Alicia Guest, Boynton Beach. Good afternoon, commissioners and county residents. This is my monthly update for Lives in Recovery and senior citizen housing interests. The film Lives in Recovery is complete and is currently streamable on the YouTube channel Lives in Recovery. Lives in Recovery is a film with 6 episodes, is free to the community, and was made for people in rehab, detox, treatment, jails, and schools. We met with the school district, and they have embraced our project, and vetting will commence in 2024. Senior citizen housing interests. Clubhouse term restrictions initiative. Senior citizens, unbeknownst to them, are signing deceptive clubhouse contracts here in Palm Beach County and throughout Florida that end up in property and asset loss due to no fault of their own. These clubhouse terms are outlawed across USA. In the upcoming months, our initiative will mobilize. I will return each month, excluding next month, right, because there's no meeting next month, with updates on our initiative, milestones, public record, victim names, and general updates. Does anyone have any questions? Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Risa, and then be followed by Nicole Adams.
Thank you. Good morning, Commission. I want to start by thanking you for your continued support, those of you who did support us. We are here today because the last several years, incidents where bullets have left the shooter's property have increased exponentially. Unfortunately, the current state statutes provide no protection or guidelines for shooting on properties with a residential density of 1 home per acre. I would like to present the following proposed House and Senate bills, SB 270 and HB 259, to be received and filed. They are currently being proposed by Senator Lori Berman and House Representative Catherine Waldron. We have worked with them. These bills are a very small step meant to keep people safe from stray bullets, much like the one that hit my neighbor, Nikki Adams. We are not looking to take anyone's guns. As a matter of fact, I own guns, several. I carry a gun, and I enjoy firing my guns in a safe and responsible way. We are asking that you include it in the county's annual legislative agenda, and we would love your support at the upcoming County Commission Legislative Delegation Joint Workshop. We are hoping that you will engage county staff in support of these bills through your legislative delegation. Thank you so much for your time. Can I give these to be received and filed?
Yeah, staff will take that from you. All right. Nicole Adams, followed by Chris Peterson.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Risa, I'm piggybacking on what she just said. We are a heritage farm homeowners and landowners. We live in a very rural, beautiful community, and on September 10th, I was outside with my horses at our barn, and my neighbors across the canal shoot very aggressively on the weekends, and I've called. Back in April, I called complaining that the bullets had actually crossed over onto my property, and my son and I had to leave the property due to these bullets coming at us. 911 was called, a few other people called. On September 10th, similar situation. I called my husband and I said, I think the horse across the canal was hit because he's freaking out. And as I was walking to my pavilion, I was struck in the back by a .45 bullet.
Jeez.
No, I know you have a beautiful rural property. Could you imagine being outside taking care of your beautiful animals that you love endlessly and then getting hit by a bullet and then later finding out that it's legal? I have no repercussion. I have no safety. I have no protection. So now this property that we have invested all of our money into to plant our nonprofits' roots, because I am an angel mom with Place of Hope. We work with kids that age out of the foster system. And we want this property to be a blessing to those young adults. But now we cannot knowingly offer our property to come and visit because we're scared ourselves. The people still shoot, and we've been told, now, you know, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't even know what my district was until that incident happened, and then I found out that it was District 6. Someone said, oh, contact your county commissioner, and I learned it was Mrs. Baxter, and I called a few times. I never heard anything back except from her wonderful assistant who informed me that it was out of your jurisdiction to help us in this situation. So now Risa and a few of our neighbors, we have joined to just, I can't change what happened obviously, but we need to make a change for the future. I am a gun owner. My husband and I shoot responsibly. You get in your car, you wear a seatbelt, responsible ownership. We need help. We are trying to protect our children, our farms, our homes, our safety. And as Risa said, there's a bill being amended from the statute 790-15 where it says you can legally shoot on your property. Shoot on your property responsibly. When I had my RV on the property, I was told I had to remove it because I didn't have a primary residence and I was going to get fined $1,000 a day. But my neighbor who has no berm, no backstop, nothing, and is shooting directly at me, 950 feet from where they were shooting, I was hit. If it was the other weapons, I would have died. Those are the weapons. You could see that what they were shooting. Right behind that backstop is my property. There's an opening. That's where I was hit. We need your guys' help, and we're just coming to see if that's something that we can all do together as a community to protect our children and our livestock and our homes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
I just wanted to ask you a question because I did talk to my staff about this. What did the sheriff's officer end up telling you?
We were told that they cannot do anything because the Florida statute 790-15 says that you are allowed to legally shoot on your property. So this amendment of the bill shows that there's at least some sort of regulation. Your bullets can't leave your property. If you want to shoot on your property, by all means, we don't want to take that right, but we want to protect ourselves and our properties. And this amendment would create some sort of regulation that your bullets cannot leave your property. So we're hoping that that is addressed.
And you were told that there was no consequences for somebody shooting you?
I was told that there was no consequences because there was no malintent. However, in that statute, it says without foreseeable risk. In April, I informed the homeowner and told them of that property that their bullets were leaving their property and nothing was done. And they continued to shoot. They continued to aim that backstop and berm and all of those guns at our property, and they shoot every weekend, and they told us to go F ourselves when we asked them to please take into consideration moving that berm.
I'm sorry you went through that.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, you're recognized.
Hold on just 1 second. There's a crime known as culpable negligence. It's a misdemeanor. There's other crimes. It could be a felony if they intentionally shot over to your area. I would strongly suggest that you file a police report. Just go to your local, which jurisdiction, are you in the sheriff's?
Yeah.
Okay, jurisdiction. Go to the nearest sheriff's substation and fill out an affidavit, file it, and I know that's a crime.
The day it happened, I called 911. Helicopter came. They made me put a helmet on because it was still an open shooting scene. I was rushed to the hospital because the bullet hit my back. And there was an open investigation, but the Florida statute 790-15 says that they can shoot on their property And that's what I was ended up with, and they closed the case. No lawyer will take it because they said I wasn't personally injured, although my medical bills from that little visit that they made me take to 911 are over $3,000 now. My children won't go on the property. All of the stables that we just built and invested all of our money in, we cannot rent because I don't even want my horses over there because they're scared half to death. So it's been the most unbelievable aftermath of what has happened. And to know that we have no recourse, that nobody, I've gone to lawyers, I wasn't personally injured, so they won't take it. A civil attorney said that the law protects the shooter on that property, and they said this is what we have to do. Rick Bradshaw, the state attorney, we've gone through all the channels, we've met with Captain Eastman, and they've all said you have to go to a law level. So Senator Berman and House Representative Caldron have now taking this on. It's not against guns, because that's what everybody says, oh, they want to take our gun rights. No, we want our property rights. I can't get a golf ball hit on my property, but a bullet is allowed to hit my property.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I know the law, because I was there when it did, but if you call my office, I'll help you consult with a couple of attorneys who, there's one thing to be able to shoot a firearm in your property. There's another thing to shoot guns on your property that impact other people's rights. And I think that they have, my personal estimation is they have broken the law. So give my office a call. Let's see what we can
Absolutely.
do to help you out.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you. Chris Peterson, followed by David Zamora.
All right, good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Chris Peterson. I represent Fortify Financial. We're PACE providers here in Palm Beach County. I recognize many of you from the several years of discussions that we've had around PACE and trying to make it the most safest and effective form of financing that we have here in the county. And honestly, all that work we did, it's working. We have great consumer protections. I think everybody knows after all that work in the revised ordinance, which we are complying with, that this has been a successful program. The reason I'm here today is, unfortunately, none of our assessments made it on the Palm Beach County tax roll. Not one of them, not just the ones from 2023 that stem from a disagreement with the FPFA, but none of them. We're talking over 1,400 people, over almost $40 million worth of assessments here. That is an issue. This could potentially harm and disrupt over almost 1,400 of your residents, and not to mention contractors. There's people with no roofs on their house that are wondering if they're going to get to finish their projects. If we can't understand the collection, the certainty of collection, then it's very, very challenging for us to continue funding. We understand that there are ongoing disagreements between the Palm Beach County tax collector and the FPFA. That will be resolved over time with the court systems or whatnot. But the current course of action will only harm the county, homeowners, and the contractors. We would like the opportunity to engage with the county on some interim solutions here, whether it be a curative ILA, something to get this done so that this is doing real harm to real residents or real people, responsible homeowners who all they wanted to do was make hurricane mitigation improvements to their property that are now that funding is in jeopardy. So while this is we really need to figure out a way to get this done. The tax bills can be amended to reflect the assessments. This is a solvable issue. This can be handled. But this disruption is just, we have to let the courts handle those disagreements. We're caught in the middle of this. We're just trying to fulfill our mission as PACE providers. We're trying to provide a form of financing that, frankly, a lot of these folks don't have any other options. We have very low interest rates, high consumer protections. Everybody's very pleased with this program, right? The only problem is there's an issue that has nothing to do with us, is government squabbling that is having a real harmful effect on residents. And we urge you to continue working. And Ms. Baker and Mr. Rutter have been very helpful so far. We want to continue these conversations to try to find a solution that makes sense for everybody. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. David Zamora, followed by Andrew Neal.
Hi, I have a handout that is relevant I'd like to distribute.
Yep. Thank you. Go ahead, your time started.
While that's being passed out, my name is David Zamora. I work for Fortify as the head of sales. I've worked in PACE for almost 10 years, helping thousands and thousands of homeowners who don't have access to traditional finance. or find PACE to be the preferred method for them because of, as Chris Peterson said, a variety of things like low interest rates, longer terms. It helps them. You guys may not know this, but there are people who can't qualify for other things because they've been recently divorced or they've had medical bills. All those things can impact your credit, and many other things impact your credit. And then you lose the ability to finance necessary improvements on your home, things that will protect you, a roof, impact windows. And now we have an insurance crisis that multiplies those factors. So I want to make you aware that real people in Palm Beach are being impacted here. So right now, we've got 1,400 homeowners, if you look at the table on your sheet, that would be impacted by the changes that are being abruptly made to the PACE program. I want to call to attention the 282 homeowners that are currently in progress right now. Those people have made commitments and contracts to fix their homes, to upgrade their roof, to put a new AC. And if PACE cannot continue through Fortify on the tax roll, we will not be able to help those homeowners. It's a total of about $37 million in financing over the last few years that Fortify has committed. So I'm here to ask that we find a resolution quickly to help all these homeowners. I've personally talked to thousands of people over the years. There is not other options, especially in an economy like we have right now and where it is going right now. And these people will be left out. These are people who need this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Andrew Neal, followed by Bill Mashraki.
Hey, I'm Andrew Neal. I was born and raised in Palm Beach County, opened up my business 4 years ago. I'm a roofing contractor. I own Neal Roofing and Waterproofing. Just kind of wanted to highlight, how Fortify had helped us. We started using them about 3 years ago. Everyone, I don't know if any of you have replaced your roofs. It's not necessarily something that you want to pay for. So we try to mitigate that by financing roofs. 60% of our jobs are financed, 22% are done through Fortify because they don't necessarily qualify for, the unsecured loans. So, whether we're doing full roof replacements or, even repairs, a lot of these people, they would be left, without an option of financing if it wasn't for Fortify. So, especially with, insurance going and saying that, that their roof has met their useful life and they're forcing them to replace it. Fortify is a great option for a lot of our homeowners, and a lot of these people, their house is their most important asset, and the roof is what protects that from potentially being condemned. So if Fortify funding was taken away, we would lose 22% of our business, and we would serve between 5 and 8 homeowners a month, full replacements through Fortify, and I don't think that they would have, any source of funding if it wasn't for them.
Thank you. Bill Mashraki, followed by John O'Sullivan.
Good afternoon, Bill Mashraki, live in Broward County, Pompano Beach, but we've been 7 years in the PACE program under Cool Bear Services. We're an HVAC company. The program is a great program because, it's represent anywhere from 7 to 8, 10% max of our business, so we don't rely on it, but it's definitely helpful, not just for us, but our main concern is really the customers that we visit, where if it wasn't for the PACE program, they may not been able to put any HVAC in their home. And as you well know, you cannot live without AC in South Florida, especially with the past year heat wave that we've had, and they're talking about getting more. Next year is going to be worse. So the program does work. A lot of, the only thing that I see that these customers will be faced with if they don't have the PACE program is going into really secondary finance companies with really high interest rate. But this program makes it very easy for them. A lot of them, would like to go with a 24-month or 36-month with no interest, like some other ones with better credit, but unfortunately they can't. And by having this program makes it really easy for them, as long as they're current on their taxes and their mortgage payments. they're almost guaranteed to get their, whether it be roofing or windows or even, in our case, HVAC taken care of. So we hope that you guys can continue to support the program. Like we said, it's not for us. You know, as a businessman, owner, we could find business somewhere else if need to, but these people, I don't think they have the opportunity as we do. Thank you.
Thank you. John O'Sullivan, followed
Good
by...
afternoon, John O'Sullivan. I'm an attorney for Fortify. I speak to the same issue that the previous speakers have been on. Just to give context, you're talking about a program that all of the people who are involved, the people who provide the financing, the people who are signing up for the roof repairs, the contractors, everybody relied on a structure. And the structure was tax collected, subsequent lien money is easier to finance. Investors will put the money up for that if they have the enhanced security. It's the basic premise of the program. What we're talking about based on this disagreement is yanking that out midstream. Bonds have been sold. Promises have been made to the world. Palm Beach County green bonds are out there, and the promise is the tax collector will collect the money to repay those bonds. So you're talking about defaulting those bonds, all of these related things, at a time where, as you heard from the people, our Fortify's team has been in here working with the resilience team, all of that, to get on the same page on local regulations, what needs to be done. We're not dealing with FPFA on that. So you have, from the perspective of the county, everything you want in that ordinance that is in the nature of consumer protection to lay on top of the fresh money, which is what this program brought, right? That $30 million is money that wouldn't be here putting roofs on Palm Beach County if it wasn't for this program. You have the consumer protection commitment from Fortify. They're living under the rules now, and we have this weird situation where FPFA, who's kind of an intermediary, is not signing on. But in Palm Beach, the people want the money, the contractors want to do the work, we want to give them the money, we want to comply with the local regs, and people can't get on the same page. So we're in conversations with the county attorney's office, with the tax collectors council, trying to work out an interim status quo. The courts will work out what they're going to work out. The Supreme Court of Florida is probably going to decide the relationship between these special districts and the right of local counties to also take care of what's going on the ground. That's going to be decided in 2 years. Nobody should be behaving like they already won or they're absolutely right on one side or the other. We don't know for sure, but in the meantime, you don't scrap a program that people are already half in on and are relying on. There's nobody else in this county who's going to step up and say, oh, we'll pay for those roofs. We'll finance it. If you yank something that's there and they rely on, you're going to have dislocation. And so I don't know what form this will get to the commission, but I hope we're in a position to move for some resolution that makes clear that the county's issues with how this is operating are satisfied by our commitment to comply by the ordinance, and that the tax collector hopefully doesn't have a separate set of veto powers. But it is a problem. The default is immediate. The consequences are going to be expensive and hard, maybe impossible to clean up, and it's going to be on somebody's doorstep. I mean, our clients want to comply, and I think the homeowners aren't going to get left high and dry, and they're going to be like the people you see in here. They're going to say, what happened? That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, I want to say that you have this company or intermediary or whatever
FPFA, yeah.
FPFA, what they have done to not only Palm Beach County, but every other county in the state of Florida is abominable. And, you know, there's, unfortunately, the way they're going at this, they do not want to abide by the protections that we have put in place for our consumers. Now, and which then creates this situation where you now have two things operating at the same time, one that's compliant with our ordinance and people that are uncompliant with our ordinance. And it's putting, and I understand it's putting our consumers and you all in a very difficult place. However, we are trying to get it resolved with them, but they put us in this, they did.
100%, I agree with you.
They put us in the middle of something that we had no reason to be involved in other than what we were doing to help our consumers. You guys worked very closely with us, and I'm sure we'll continue to try and get this resolved. However, the tax collector is a constitutionally elected officer. We don't have jurisdiction over the tax collector. And I think, honestly, I think you need to be knocking on that door if you're going to try and want to really get this resolved, because we can't put anything on a tax bill.
Understood. So I just want to make one final point, which is what's changed in the last few days is we expressed dissatisfaction with FPFA in even stronger terms than you and in a lot of different ways, and they're now willing to sign on to a curative.
Well, then they better let everybody know they're willing to do that and
understood.
start signing.
Yeah, and I understand that the tax collector is a separate constitutional creature, but I don't believe there's a separate substantive review that the tax collector gets to do on whether we like the ordinance or not, or the compliant. That's a separate, at the point that you're satisfied, it's ministerial.
I understand, sir, but that's not in front of us, and it's not something that we can resolve. But I appreciate you being here and making the public aware, because everybody should be calling FPFA right now and telling them to stop it.
Right, it's forfeiture. It's just, it's a cascade of defaults. It doesn't make any sense. And so
They're-
anyway,
and
we're
they're
engaged
putting-
and
and
we'll
they
be
are
in-
doing this to everybody in the state of Florida. All right, Jane Justice, followed by Mary Kelly. I support PACE.
Hello, everybody. Our top-heavy government has become a serious and immediate threat to the security of the poor citizens here that support it. Now, grant money is also taxpayer money, is it not? How can we help the commissioners to see what is happening in Palm Beach County? I have already mentioned that get into a bus and survey the entire county and dialogue with the citizens. Now, when the citizens have no say or input with the commissioners on the excessive business-as-usual spending, like a Hispanic community center, what about the rest of us? Is this called legalized theft, or is it politics? Is it politics? Are we practicing Bidenomics in a concerted effort for financial collapse here in Palm Beach County? I'm just asking. At this point, what is more important than our vote? Over the past few years, patriots have brought forward damning evidence of a complex and corrupt electronic voting system. When and where was there a serious inquiry from the commissioners, the legislators, the governor, or the fake news media? The result was only to reward the SOE another $10 million without any line-for-line audit. Is this a remedy for economic crisis, or let them eat cake? Come on. Just before the budget officially passed a few weeks ago, patriots again arrived with interesting analysis of the budget and a bombshell story in the Miami Independent, and this story was researched for 8 months. A highly partisan political PAC, Cornerstone Solutions, working with SOE Link, found to be answering the phone in the record request department and even listed on her payroll. Cornerstone itself appears to be a network of PACs involved in a huge transfers of money. In a sense, they're choosing the winners and losers here in the political arena. Does anybody care about the absolute disenfranchisement of the voter? And I want to ask you, should the guardians of the public trust, that means you, have opened this up for public input? I think we should have. I'm asking for a friend. This is a blatant conflict of interest, and it has got to be illegal. To add insult to injury, the SOE embarked on a second attempt to demonize the poor patriots who sacrificed countless unpaid hours of the public viewing of the voting system. Okay? Enough wasted. Cornerstones and the election office smacks of corruption, and Wendy Link should resign immediately.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Ms. Justice.
Thank you very much.
Okay, have a wonderful day. Mary Kelly, followed by Karen Yeho.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Mary Kelly.
Oh, no.
I'm not sure if y'all receive email via email Palm Beach County election reports. Do y'all receive that email from the SOE? Anybody? Okay. Well, I just received it, and I'm a little concerned here because under the election office, whoops, wrong part, I'm sorry. Ensuring accurate elections, a closer look at post-election audits. Wendy goes on in her email, but my concern is they're going to be using an improved audit procedure instead of randomly selecting a percentage of precincts for manual tally, 100% of ballots cast. Yes, every single one of the ballots cast. So it's a standalone system. I don't know the name of it. I'm just wondering how we can get that made public, the system that's going to be using to audit the election. Who should I ask?
You can ask the supervisor of elections.
Okay, do y'all have any input that it be made public?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This will be our last speaker.
Commissioners, can you hear me correctly? My name is Carrie C. Yeho. I guess I speak too softly. Okay, I have a handout to you that clerk can pass out. Could you stop the timer? Time is ticking. Oh, okay. I filed petitioning to U.S. Supreme Court, and we were back and forth because I did not follow the rules of the court correctly. So I sent it in, I got it back, resent it in, got it back. Finally, I followed the rule correctly. That is the first step. So now, what my petitioning is about, it's Women's Right, Equal Credit Opportunity Act. That was passed in 1974. But this is year 2023. Back in 2015, my loan was denied at the closing because my husband wouldn't sign the mortgage document. Now, I'm an accountant. I'm also called electronic data processing auditor, computer auditor, back in 1980s. So I'm retired. I'm also licensed real estate broker, licensed community association manager, and also I have a Florida professional teaching license, 5th grade to 9th grade, math and science, but I'm retired. I'm collecting my Social Security. So what would I want the commissioner to see what we can do? It's called mortgage law. Apparently, judges didn't have mortgage law to go by. They have a contract law, and they have uniform commercial code. So I know both. I took the class. I know both. But the judges didn't know. So that was all my argument about. That whether it's a violation of 14th Amendment and 5th Amendment, that my due process was not honored, and also am I being treated equally? When I have credit and insisting my husband has to put his name on it, sign for a house that he doesn't even own. Does that make sense? Okay. And another issue here is, before it expires, it's November is Caregivers Month. Governor DeSantis signed it, and November is Caregivers Month, which family caregiver provides billions of dollars free service, that with the love and compassion. So Florida statute 744.3316B, it's list a restrictive alternative to guardianship. It's called guardianship buster.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. I hope that I will have a support for this United States Supreme Court 23, case number 23-383.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. All right, that was our last card. All right, so we're going back to our regular agenda. We had asked for I guess we're on 5E2,
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, 5E2, and we needed a new,
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I just looked at it. The motion would be to approve on preliminary reading and advertise for public hearing on November 21st, 2023 at 9:30 a.m., and we would remove the last sentence on our staff report, which is the increasing on the sizes. The last sentence, we would strike that out.
staff seeks to modify,
Yeah, that's
so strike.
the whole.
Excuse me, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Administrator Baker. I just want to get it correct on the record exactly what we're doing to the, what amendment that we're doing to the amended ordinance. So it just has to be disclosed that you're amending the proposed ordinance by, sorry, 1 second.
This is on a motion to approve
Right, but there's
on
also,
preliminary reading and advertise.
Right, but we're moving whereas clauses 3 and 4, removing section 1, moving section 7 to section 1, and amending the title to reflect said changes based on the decisions that were made today.
Okay.
All right, and then on the summary, there's no need for that last sentence.
Correct, in reference to the changing of the size
No,
standards.
on
Correct.
this one.
Yep.
It's not it's only,
This-
yes.
Last sentence.
It's the last sentence, yeah. Okay.
So that's my motion.
That, we have a motion by Commissioner Bernard. Clerks, did you get that? Okay, they're good. We have a second by Commissioner Baxter. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 6-0, showing that Commissioner Marino is not on the dais. All right, now we're back to 5. We're at 5. We're back to 5B1. This is Housing and Economic Development. This is Home American Rescue Plan Program Award for West Palm Beach Housing Authority. Does anyone need a presentation on this?
I do not know.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve item 5B, 1A, B, and C.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bernard to approve item 5B1, A, B, and C, a second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 6-0 with Commissioner Marino not present. Okay, moving on to 5B2, also for Housing and Economic Development.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve item 5B, 2A through E.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bernard on 5B2, A, B, C, D, and E, a second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 6-0 with Commissioner Marino not with us. Now, moving on to 5C1, Palm Tran. This is the St. Lucie Express. Anyone need a presentation on this? This is accepting a grant.
I don't know.
I don't need a presentation, but I would like to make a comment.
Sure. Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. We went over this briefly, and I think it's amazing, to my recollection of what we went over, that the Florida Department of Transportation is funding this for 3 years. Is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioner.
So I just wanted to bring it to my fellow commissioners' attention that seeing as how these 3 years are funded, I think that's amazing, but I would like to put it on your radar that should it go away, I don't think that the county should just then buy people who have started taking this bus or route, that should in the future, the Florida Department of Transportation choose to no longer fund this program, that we, the county, should then pick it up. I just wanted to put that out there, that this tends to happen when programs get funded. Then they come to us going, hey, we have all these people that have relied on this program, And then all of a sudden, the Florida Department of Transportation may decide not to any longer fund it. I just don't want this to become a taxpayer burden. That's all. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward, you're recognized.
Yes, I agree. And in my agenda review, it was discussed that we would also go to Port St. Lucie, because they're recipients of this, and there is a plan for, if the funding runs out, to share this. Yes.
And Mayor, if I may, just to that point, DOT is particularly excited about this opportunity. They're actually who brought this opportunity to us. They've committed a significant amount of money in building the park and ride that already exists today of $2 million and serves Port St. Lucie and their transit routes as well as Greyhound, and have expressed even longer-term commitment to us beyond the pilot study period, both from a sustainability perspective and a number of varying grant opportunities that they have within DOT to assist in funding. And that's why we're excited about getting that detail, getting that information. And I think it'll be incumbent upon us to provide some of those updates to you each year so you can see how we are performing in this pilot, and that way you can kind of gauge that. So, you know, we'll do that as we move along with this particular project. So
It's
thank
exciting,
you for
so
that point,
thank you.
though. No, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to approve items C1A, B, and C.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Bernard on item 5C1, A, B, and C, a second by Commissioner Baxter.
I'll do that.
Seeing no further discussion, all in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 6-0 with Commissioner Marino not here.
And Mayor, if I just may, there are some agreements that we're still working on a few aspects of this with St. Lucie County, some MOUs and letters that we're going to be bringing back to the BCC as a follow-up on that. So I just wanted to be clear on the record that we had a couple of those items, and the leases for the buses that we're negotiating will also come back to you as receive and file. So you'll see all of those in the coming months. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Woodward, you're recognized.
Sorry, I just wanted to add to you guys, Palm Tran team, we're very sorry about the loss last week. I know he'll be missed, but thank you all for the work you're continuing to do.
Thank you. And looking to the success of this program, at this pilot, even if the buses are half full, that's still 20 cars for each bus off the road.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's a great thing to have happen, so.
Mr. Mayor, on the next item, on 5D1, A, and B, I am making this motion on behalf of Commissioner Marino.
Can you do that?
No, just.
But you're making the motion?
Yes, I'm making the motion.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Bernard on his own volition, never spoke to Commissioner Marino about this. Items 5D1, A, B, A, and B. We have a second by the Vice Mayor. All in favor, all opposed. That motion carries 6-0. Thank you. All right. And I think that was the last item on our regular agenda. I think we've taken care of everything else. We are now to Commission District appointments, and we can start, today, can we start with Commissioner Baxter on the appointments? Commissioner Baxter, do you have any appointments today?
I did, but I do not see it on the paper. Mr. Smith, I would like to reappoint him to the Housing Authority Finance. I can't remember the the Housing Finance Authority.
All right. So we have an appointment by Commissioner or reappointment by Commissioner Baxter. Thank you. Commissioner Bernard.
None, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
None at this time.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
None at this time.
Thank you. Commissioner Barnett.
No appointments, Your Honor.
Thank you. I got a
you're an
promotion.
honor.
I know, I got a promotion, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Could I be like Judge Judy? I love her. Maybe,
Sometimes it's like Judge Judy.
All right. And I have no appointments today. All right, moving on. Staff comments, administration.
Item, we did place all items in. The last one was Commissioner Baxter directing staff regarding the clarifying the SMWBE policy and procedures for a business to be certified by the Office of Small Business Assistance. We did meet with you. You requested a follow-up meeting, so it's my understanding that has been scheduled. And as soon as we get through that, and it was related to how we certify women, and we shared with you what our issues was, and then we'll follow up with you with the individual you asked who did the certification.
Well, I kind of would like, actually, the direction I gave was to bring it to the board. I want
I can
everyone
bring
to
it to the
hear
board.
what that policy
Okay.
and how it's being interpreted is, because I personally find it egregious, but I would like to see if my fellow commissioners agree.
Okay, we can bring it.
Definitely.
We also did not terminate our agreement with Transit Village. We're still working with them to try to get something somewhat settled if possible. In addition, we are working with the Housing Leadership Council on the Housing Leadership Plan, Housing Plan. We did meet with Jack Weir last week or week before, my weeks are running together. We shared with him, I think we've come up with some agreements. He was going back to his group, and then we'll also bring that issue back to the board. Commissioner Bernard directed staff to draft a letter of support for Mayor Weiss to sign in support of funding design phase 1, construction for CR 880 in the Glades. Staff to draft that letter, and I think that has been completed. So we've got the others. Commissioner Woodward, we are working, and the feasibility study for the bridge is underway. And then we can go on Hispanic culture. We were directed to look into funding opportunities for that, and that is what we're doing. I think you might have some comments later. Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor, if you
Go
don't
right
mind.
ahead.
I'm just curious, the bridge, is that the one that kept sounding every 20 minutes? And so we're doing a study to look into that, if that's still occurring?
We are looking at our procedures, which we model after FDOT. And if we're going to change it, because we've had accidents on those bridges, the last thing we need is to change and not have substantial documentation behind the change.
Agreed, I was just clarifying that this is what we're,
That is the bridge. However, we've also got all the data, and our data does not necessarily agree that every 20 minutes the horn was sounded.
thank you.
Those are just some updates, and
Mo-
we'll
Motion
continue
to
work
receive
on
and
it.
file, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. We have a motion to receive and file, administration comments. And we have a second from the Vice Mayor. Seeing no discussion, all in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 6-0. Commissioner Marino is not with us. Okay, County Attorney.
I'm sorry, my last comment, I want to publicly thank our staff over at Palm Tran for keeping things moving. I want to thank Todd Von Lauren, who's our county liaison to that department, and all of our county staff, because they've all stepped up to the plate. Clinton will be missed very much, but he set us on a solid path that I believe will get us where we need to go. Being a county as large as we are charged with having a transit system. And so we will continue all the things that he outlined in his proposals for pilots, et cetera, in order to make us as efficient as possible, but yet providing the service we need to our residents. We will continue to follow through with that path and bring those things back to the board. But Clinton, and I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to lose it, was larger than life, and he was a force to be reckoned with within our departments. He brought us all together with that smile, and we will never forget that. So we do thank him and his family for supporting him, as well as the staff.
Thank you. All right, County Attorney.
I just wanted to let the commission know that we just sent you a kind of a lengthy email on PACE and the status of the litigation across the state. Also, we are aware that Fortify has been making the rounds throughout the counties. Well, the way the PACE program is structured, Fortify cannot contract with us directly. They must work under one of these special districts like FPFA. So I don't know if Fortify is still doing business in this county without having FPFA authorized to do business in this county, but that would be unwise. We are aware that there are going to be issues that we will have to clean up at some point. We have been talking to Fortify. We know that the tax collector's office has been talking to them, and we're hopeful that there may be a resolution, but it's probably not going to come until FPFA loses the litigation or amends its ways and determines, and the court determines the appropriate steps for us to take. But we will definitely keep our options open.
Thank you. All right, I think we are now to commissioner comments, and we will start with Commissioner Barnett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I, too, want to express condolences to the family of Clinton Forbes and to his family and all of the Palmstrand family as well for this terrible loss. I didn't get to know him very well, but over the past 9 or 10 months, he was always gracious and kind to me, and it was a pleasure knowing him. And yes, absolutely, he will be terribly missed. I also want to extend condolences to the family of Pat Rooney and his sons, Congressman Tom Rooney and Pat Jr. I want to thank you all on the board for welcoming our students this morning from Okehele Middle School. It was a pleasure when we first got to meet them on the Hispanic Cultural Bus Tour a few months ago and saw them perform in the gymnasium at Okehele Middle. They're a great bunch of kids, and I'm grateful they were able to come and share their culture and their talents with us this morning. I was with 3 of my fellow commissioners this weekend at Fire Ops 101, my second time participating, and it was nice and cool this time, not like the 100 degrees last time, but still, just getting into that suit and getting out of it was a chore. I can't imagine what our firefighters have to go through carrying not only the suit, but 60 to 70 pounds worth of equipment on every single call, having to suit up within a minute and a half and get their masks on. We're very lucky to live in Palm Beach County and have such amazing firefighters, men and women, serving us in Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. My best regards and commendations to all of our firefighters and Chief Kennedy. And yes, Ms. Baker, thank you very much for your comments with regards to finding funding for the Hispanic Cultural Resource Community Center. I wanted to bring something to the board's attention. Hopefully we can get some support for a letter that we would like to send to the Hispanic Chamber in order to get them to assist us in securing some funding for programming from Tallahassee in the upcoming legislative session. As you all know, the Hispanic Cultural Resources Community Center is a priority of District 3. In my office, I've been working with county staff, including Todd and Ed Chase, Casey, to identify a permanent location for the center. But in order to begin the process of creating programming that will be housed within this center, and in order to avoid any delays in the provision of important information prior to the physical locations development, we've spoken with members of the legislative delegation who have offered to sponsor a request for state funding to provide for the implementation of the center's programming. And this has to be a request made by an outside entity, a nonprofit. And we've been in communications with the CEO of the Hispanic Chamber, Maria Antunia. She needs permission from the board, and my office has drafted a letter that we would like to send from District 3, our office, with the blessing of the Board of County Commissioners, of course, to the requesting entity, which would be the Hispanic Chamber, for funding to help facilitate planning and implementation of programming prior to the actual establishment of the brick and mortar building. A memo should have gone out to your offices, I think this morning, if not last night, I think this morning. And Mr. Mayor, if I might ask permission of the Board of County Commissioners to bless and support this letter we would like to send from District 3 to the Hispanic Chamber. We'll be eternally grateful.
I don't see any objection.
No objections? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I don't have any other comments.
Good luck.
And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start also condolences to Clinton Forbes' family, his Palm Sham family, and actually all of us. I'm already scheduled to speak at the graduation tomorrow for the new bus drivers and some of the maintenance, and was supposed to talk to him Friday morning, and he was going to give me the great pep talk and of how great Palm Tran is, and didn't get to have that conversation with him, unfortunately, but no one could talk more passionately about something that I had no interest in, and suddenly by the end of that conversation, I'm like, I love buses. This is so fantastic. So he was infectious in that way, and he will be missed. I'm going to change the subject, but to his family and to everyone else, I'm glad we had him while we did. Sorry. Oh, tomorrow might be rough. So also, Veterans Day is this weekend, and I'll be speaking with maybe some of you at the Veterans Memorial Park Saturday morning at 9:30 for our veterans. I just wanted to put that out there. Also, I found out Animal Care and Control, the Halloween spectacular that we went to, 27 pets got adopted that day, including cats and dogs, of course, but also a couple of pigs and some rabbits. So good job with that, Animal Care and Control. And again, everyone, please, think about visiting our shelters. We have a lot of really great dogs there. My husband has like 5 of them picked out to take home, so we'll have to see how that goes. And one last thing I wanted my fellow commissioners to know about. Milani Park is in Highland Beach. It's a property that we've owned, the county's owned, I believe, since 1987. We voted several months ago to move forward with design phase instead of kicking it down for another 5-year extension. It's meeting some resistance, but I do have a public meeting scheduled February 1st in Highland Beach at their town hall to give the public time for everything to be heard. We have a really good presentation. I've already met with the city, with Parks and Rec, and Ms. Dorrit Miller, if we can maybe get her to please come back for this. She's so fantastic. She was with us as well. I think that they're going to be reaching out maybe to some of you, I don't know, and in opposition. I just ask that you give us the February 1st meeting to try to convince why a county public park, it would not be the worst thing in the world to happen to this area. We do own the land. There's a few confusion about it was donated. County did buy this land. We own it, and it's been part of the plan all along. It's not meant to be a crazy beach park. We're working on making it a very passive nature park. The beach side especially, if you've ever been there, giant banyan trees, lots of shade. We're looking at building a boardwalk in there and disrupting as little as possible of the nature. So if they're coming to you, I apologize. I'm working on getting the meeting scheduled, and just wanted you all to know. And if you have any questions, Jennifer has all of this ready to go to show you what we're going to be presenting. But that's coming up on February 1st. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, we'll go down to Commissioner Bernard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will have to leave after I give my comments because I have to pick up the baby. First, I'd like to request an off-site proclamation declaring December 2023 as Impaired Driving Awareness Month.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bernard, a second by Commissioner Baxter. All in favor, all opposed. That motion carries 6-0.
And as was mentioned by, the board, condolences are to Clinton Forbes and his family. My last conversation with him was last Tuesday. He had called me to ask me, he was like, Commissioner Bernard, can you do a proclamation for Hubba Bubba in December? And he was like, there's been a great article on him on WLRN, and I pulled it up and I was like, definitely, yes, I'm going to do this proclamation in December. And that was my last conversation with him. So I look forward to doing the proclamation, and we're going to miss Clinton Forbes for all of his work that he's done for our residents in Palm Beach County. I know we worked on the sickle cell bus. That was something that was important to my office, and so really appreciate his work. And then I want to send congratulations to the Revere Beach Chargers football team and their cheerleading team. The cheerleading team is going to the regional championship in Orlando, Florida. And finally, I did attend the dog park grand opening, Commissioner Woodward. I did attend, so I did brought my dog, so it was a great grand opening. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Baxter.
Thank you, Mayor. I know we talk a lot about Palm Tran up here, and any hesitation you've heard from us directly involves policy. It's never about the person. And I will also miss Clinton because he was very contagious in his excitement for Palm Tran. He really just, he loved it, which is why I think we butted heads a little bit because, I'm trying to save tax dollars and he's trying to push more programs. But that's what makes us great and the ability to do that. And so I just want to thank, the team for stepping up today and especially filling in for such a great addition. I mean, everyone around him seems to have loved him. So I can't say anything more than my prayers and condolences go out to friends, family. I'm sure he will be very missed. He just left, but I also wanted to thank Commissioner Bernard for his very thoughtful motion today and taking time to really go through that. And I did appreciate the conversations. I always love when we have a good conversation up here. I'd like to I would like to wish a happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans out there. They are, amazing and why we get to do what we do. And lastly, we will not have another meeting before November 16th, but I'd like to wish my husband a happy birthday. Aww. And I look forward to that day coming. So thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great week.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Mayor, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. And on behalf of our Mayor, Greg Weiss, I'd like to request an off-site approval for a proclamation declaring November 2023 as Alzheimer's Awareness Month.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor.
Second.
A second by Commissioner Baxter. All in favor, all opposed. That motion carries 5-0 with Commissioner Marino and Commissioner Bernard not with us.
Thank you. And while we're on the roll, I'd like to request an off-site approval for a proclamation declaring December 2nd as Palm Beach County Medical Society Day.
We have a motion by the Vice Mayor, a second by Commissioner Baxter. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 5-0 as well.
And I had the wonderful opportunity these last couple of days to attend veterans events in my district at the Cascades. We gave out 123 proclamations or actually certificates for our veterans. It used to be that there was always one or two veterans from World War II. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any recently, but mostly Vietnam and Korea. But it was a great honor for me to be there, and also at Delray Villas. Everybody is celebrating our veterans, and it is especially heartwarming for me as a daughter and wife of a veteran. And I really enjoyed the debate today. I think that it was, very important, and this is government that the people can see and hear and experience, and this is what we do. This is what we do. And Commissioner Woodward, I know that stretch of property as I represented that area and as a senator. And if you need any help, let me know, because I know it's been in contention. And it would be wonderful to have a lovely county park, maybe a little playground there, it'd be nice. So whatever you and Jennifer want to do, it would be great. But good luck, because it's going to be a contest there. And I'd like to thank all of the staff under Todd and Isami, under Ms. Baker, for making it important for us to discuss these issues openly and yet reach a consensus that it could only be for the benefit of this county. And my God, I'm going to miss Clinton. Oh, what a smile. He had a smile that lit up the room. And somehow I know that in heaven those buses are running on time. And he's just part of our Palm Beach County family that we will miss. So thank you. Happy Veterans Day to everyone. I look forward to seeing Commissioner Woodward with me at Veterans Park. And God bless everybody. Let's stay safe.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And let me, also express my condolences to the Forbes family in the loss of Clinton. I have to say, I had my comments earlier today, but also wanted to mention, actually wore this tie, was picking out my ties this morning and thought, you know what? Clinton always brightened up the room. He always wore very bright clothes, and so I said, this is a tie in honor of Clinton today. So, and then also want to thank the city of West Palm Beach. They hosted their Veterans Parade last Saturday. Got to participate in that. There was a great turnout. So I heard something like 2,000 participants at that parade. So a lot of people sharing their support for our veterans. I am the son of a veteran. And I think I'll be joining you two at Veterans Park. I believe it's on my schedule for Saturday. And then Lake Worth Beach is also having a Veterans Day parade to honor veterans in that part of our county. So looking forward to that. I want to thank everybody, thank my colleagues for a great meeting today. And I want to thank our staff as always. I know it was a bit contentious. We want to do the best for our community. We want to make sure that the investments that we're making are delivering the results I think that we're all trying to get to. And I think at the end of the day, we did find consensus and a way forward, and continuing on what I believe is a very important program in trying to address some of the deficiencies that have been systemic into the way business has been conducted, not only in Palm Beach County, but in many other parts of the country as well. And we're making great strides, but you know, I think as was said earlier, we still have ways to improve and get better, and I think we all realize that, and as we do in everything else that we do in our life. So with that, thank you all, and we will be adjourned.